I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life. All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art, and we are doing another hostile solo session, which means we are down a Matt and a Patrick. They are coming off a successful NFL draft weekend. I like football. I like having a television crew film my every reaction as I slip round after round into undrafted oblivion, but alas, I was not asked. So here we are. We're back doing some more solo. And if you remember last time, it was sort of like a inter-crew heavy session, which is the kind of stuff that I really like. And the main things were like, you know, Tom had a bit of a creepy moment with JM in sickbay where JM under sedation, helpless. Tom put his hand over JM's mouth and nose so he couldn't breathe, but again, he was under sedation, so he couldn't react. And then he sort of caught himself once the alerts started to beep a little bit on the monitors, but for a moment there, he kind of lost himself a little bit. Then he grabbed Olivia, who's been beefing with JM, said, let's meet in the galley, and said, hey, I need you to start like paying attention to what's going on here. You know, at some point we're going to need to deal with what's happened on this trip. If you could maybe start documenting things going on. Specifically JM, but then he's like, maybe everybody. Maybe just start taking notes. Then after that, that was sort of the main thing. JM, you know, he comes back to... Oh, I think there was something with May where she was sort of eyeing Tom as he was interacting with people, like, oh yeah, I'm out of I'm out of cryo. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Forgive and forget, you know. And she's sitting there going like, I don't think he's going to do either. I think I need to pay attention to him. So yeah, so she's going to start paying attention to Tom. Tom's asking Olivia to start paying attention to everybody. JM's out. And then one of the things I was talking about, like, oh yeah, you know, there's some rules about healing. Given the amount of time that's passed traveling out to the West Alliance, I'm just going to say Doc Brown is recovered. I mean, you know, maybe she's not at full health, but it had been like literally months, I think. I think it was like 50-something days at one point to travel out there. So we're just going to say that she's back. You know, I don't recall. Yeah, I don't know. You know, we'll just say she's back for whatever that's worth. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll pick it up in a couple of different ways. Like one, you know, Doc Brown, you know, everybody's like, oh, hey, it's good to, you know, sort of see you back on your feet. And when she sees, like, at some point, you know, wandering about the ship, she's going to see the engineer from the West Alliance. And maybe she recognizes, like, the guy's jumpsuit or something, is like, oh, shit, West Alliance, and, like, sort of has a flashback. But, it's like, no. And, you know, he's not the one. And she's like, no, okay, yeah, I remember that. So they sort of fill her in that they spaced the other guy. JM in particular is just like, yep, see you on the other side, and just spaced him without a moment's hesitation. But there's a couple things I think we need to take care of. Because I haven't been paying attention. When I was starting this, I was like, oh yeah, I really want to get into the systems and see how and then I sort of abandoned half of them. So what I want to do is I want to bring up the rulebook really quickly. This might be a little bit of a bookkeeping session for a little bit, and then we'll continue on. You know, the ship has a character sheet, so let me bring that up. And the character sheet has a certain number of burns, you know, for the fuel. I have not been paying attention to that. So I started calculating it, but yeah, so when they left port to get to a hyperspace point, that was 4. So they're down to 20 burns. I don't know if this is the smartest way to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it. When they got to this section of space, they would have had to have decelerated and entered orbit around a gas planet or giant. They didn't really do that, but what they did have to do is decelerate and go out to the West Alliance. So that's going to be another 4. So there's a chance, like, we're gonna have to start worrying about fuel, assuming they make it at all. But, and now they're gonna be going from the one ship to the other. And so what would that be? It seems like the main thing is it's always like 4. So I feel like leave orbit for a trip to another planet is kind of the idea. Because it's going to take them a while to get out there. So let's, I think they're going to be down to like 12 burns. So when they get to their next place, because I do remember, I think, having a discussion like, are we going to have enough fuel? And they sort of figured out it would be cutting it close. So at some point, they're going to have to travel out to a hyperspace point whenever the mission's over. That's 4. That's going to take them down to 8. And then when they get out there, they're going to have to decelerate and enter orbit around a planet again. So that's going to be down to 4. And then it could be like another 2 to dock or descend into. So they're going to be cutting it very close in terms of fuel. Which again, I like. Okay, so let's, so we sort of carried that out. We're not going to worry about the actual rules for healing because we'll just be like, look, so much time has passed. But what I also want to do is, how far are we going? I want to go from, I don't think it's from like one gas giant moon to another. I think we're going to be doing like, let's do like a hyperspace point to or from main world, sort of like a triangle, right? So they, we went from the hyperspace point here to the West Alliance, and let's just make it like a triangle. So it's going to be 2d6 times 10 million kilometers. I think that's what that stands for. So let's do let's do a 2d6 roll. Okay, so we're looking at 11. Woof. Okay, so 11, so that's 110 million kilometers. The ship's drive rating, M drive is a maneuver drive, is a 3. So at a 3, you can go 30 million per day. We have to go 110. I'm starting to think maybe I did the math wrong. I don't know if it was 56 days. It was a while. Maybe it was 5 or 6 days. So let's say to get from the West Alliance to the, now I'm blanking on the actual mission. Storylines, no, I need the mission log. The Lady Luck, that's what we're looking for. It's gonna take, say, 3.5 days. Maybe I didn't do that. Maybe I did like a world in the inner zone. Maybe I did more. Planet to moon? No, that's hours. I apologize. These sessions have lasted over the course of months, so I apologize for not remembering. Did I write it down in the log? Yeah, it's 54 days to travel to Lady Luck. It was 1,800 million kilometers away. So somehow, let's say we'll make it another 54 days. I did write that down. So I don't know what I had to have rolled. I mean, I almost feel like that's like one of these. World inner zone, outer zone. I must have rolled one of those. Because I don't know how else I get that high. Like, I get a 3 times a 6 times 100. Like, I could see it being like that. Which is probably, I like what I just did here. So let's stick with what we got. Maybe they were sort of both in the same general direction, and we had to make a choice. Like, as you get like right to the end, you go either here or there. So let's call it like that. So we'll say it's gonna take let me just jot that down. It's gonna take 3.5 days. So 54 days from April 2nd. Let's say it's, so I'd put 30 days makes it like May 1st, 2nd or 3rd. So we're gonna we'll say it's like late May. We'll say it's like May 26th. Let's do that. We'll say it's May 30th and the mission's over. May 30, 22, 25. Completed repair, docking with West Alliance and repairs to, you know what, let's make it a little later. Let's say like a week, make it like June 3rd. Again, this doesn't exactly matter. Repairs to the Noctua after sabotage attempt. So there's a lot of stuff, like I was just sort of like winging the story in the moment. Again, these are, you're supposed to be like journaling a little bit, right? And I'm definitely not doing that. So let's bold underline. Let's save that, which is why I know that if I were actually playing this without recording in the VTT, I don't know if I'd really do journaling solo kind of RPGs. I just don't think I'm built for it. So, anyway. Okay. So yeah, it's going to take 3.5 days to get to the next ship. So we're going to put June 7th. $2025 arrive. Lady Luck. Okay. Now we're not just going to jump ahead because there's a couple things I want to do, and probably everybody's like, oh God, can't you just jump ahead for once? But there's a couple things I want to do. So we've sort of calculated that. One of the things I want to check, we're doing the shipping campaign, I think, right? I just wanted to check again, there's the checklist. Because I feel like I've sort of abandoned this, but I think that's why this is meant to be like a pop kind of experience, and I'm not doing that at all. But I also don't want this just to be like a do the checklist and then you're done. So anyway, again, but I didn't expect it to last this long. Needless to say. So, okay, so we're going to skip the checklist again for a little bit longer. And let's take care of a little bit of business. So one of the things I wanted to take care of. So it's going to be 3.5 days. I wanted to have a couple of moments. The first moment I want to have is I want to have May going to the mainframe. So she got suspicious of Tom. And so she just wanted to sort of, scrub the logs to just get an idea if she can pick anything up, anything at all. And let's see if she has any. She doesn't have any computer skills, so she needs to enlist someone to help her. Now, there's a couple people. She probably is aware enough that Olivia's and JM have been not cool, especially after she watched Olivia go to a meeting with Tom. So maybe she didn't overhear the meeting itself, but she's just acutely aware of all the goings on the ship as head of security. Does JM have a computer? No. It's not even necessarily that I need to pass a roll. It's just that I want to know. I just want her to need to enlist someone to do it. So that her choices are Dell, who's quite good at it, and Adea, who wouldn't be as good at it. And I think she's going to try and enlist Dell because she knows she's going to need a little bit of help streamlining the search, trying to figure things out. So let's see. So let's do this. Let's see if we can bring up a moment between two characters. Task resolution scene, justicide hazards, combat. Let's do a little character interaction. When two characters work together. So what we want to do is roll on the relationship table for one of the pair. I don't know if that's going to be... Let's just see what it does. Yeah, old in these days, ex-friends. No, that doesn't make any sense. Let me just... Did I set this up so I could just roll? Married couple, no. Secretly jealous, knows a dark secret. Knows a dark secret could be interesting. We already had one of these, I think. Doc Brown might have had a knows a dark secret. So let's bring up some inspiration tables. Just so you know, everybody in my household is sick right now. And you know those feelings you get when you know, like, you're not sick yet, but it's definitely coming. So you might watch me degrade in real time, and I apologize. So, okay, so we're looking for some kind of like dark secret-y kind of thing. We've got crisis, personnel freedom, charming, forgotten, game over man, relaxed, hope, destroyed pursuit, labor seas, forgotten creature expedition lounge, pride waiting mainframe crisis. Okay, so what we're gonna do is Dell knows, you know, he has access to everything. Let me get a notepad. He shouldn't have access to everything, but, you know, the way the company goes. And so, you know, May is a fighter, not a lover, as we discussed, so she's going to have a dark bit of her past. Maybe we even talked about this at some point. I don't know if I did, though. Let's just double check. Share secret past incident. Doc Brown. I think Doc Brown knows about this incident. So, okay, so the circle of this incident is going to start expanding. Dell also knows. Can't remember if they shared it together, or was she just looking at personnel records? Oh, right, yeah, she and May and Tom hooked up. A one-night stand. And maybe that's even more reason why she's like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy. Maybe that's how she was sort of able to read him a little bit and know that what he was saying was not what he was thinking. Because they have a little bit of history. So the incident, May's incident. Let's see, past incident. And what we're going to do is we're going to go with assault, crisis, vengeful. Okay, so it's assault, crisis, vengeful. So let's say maybe like May is cool as a cucumber under fire, but maybe that wasn't the case the one time she slipped. Usually cool under fire, but the one time she slipped, she maybe executed somebody out in the field rather than follow procedure because she lost somebody. Maybe like during a pursuit. So let's say, okay, but the one time she slipped was during a pursuit. Let's see, crisis, pursuit. Vengeful. Yeah, I think we were sort of looking at that. Oh, assault. Okay, so during an assault, a sniper took out a large part of her team. She found the sniper, who then surrendered. May disregarded the white flag and executed. I mean, it's murder. You know, it's murder. But it executed prisoner in cold blood. And she convinced surviving members of her squad to keep this secret. Okay. Okay, so we have that. And Doc Brown knows about that. Dell also knows about that. But it's interesting that anybody would know about that because she tried to get them to swear to secrecy. So somehow somebody talked. Somehow the company got a hold of this information that was supposed to be kept a secret. We don't know how yet. So that's the relationship that we're dealing with. And now what we want to do, let's just bring up solo rules again. 2 characters work together. Okay, so let's do a reaction table. Even though, again, I don't know this necessarily makes sense. 1, seek solace. Yeah, that's not going to make much sense. Okay, so what we're going to do is when one character is trying to convince the other, make an 8+ roll. So that's actually what we're trying to do. So let me pop this out for a second. So what we want is we want May to try and convince Dell to help her look at some stuff that she's not meant to look at. Let's go to skills. Okay, so it's amazing. Like, I feel like I'm really running out of real estate here on the monitor. I don't know why. Okay, so here we go. If convincer has higher social 5 and 6, no. Convincer has lower social, -1. Add liaison skill, no liaison. All right. So she's going to roll a die, and it's got to be 7 or higher. 9 or higher, I'm sorry. Well, it's basically she's trying to beat an 8, but she's going to get a -1. So let's roll 2d6 -1. Okay, she just misses it. So she comes up to Dell. She's like, hey, Dell, I need to ask you a favor. And Dell's like, of course, May, what can I help you with? And she's like, look, I know you have top level access to, the data tapes on the Noctua. I was hoping to get in there and review them a little bit. Now, Dell is like, that is highly irregular. You know that protocols aboard the ship state that only the captain and myself have, access to, the information you're seeking. Unless it's medical, of course, and then Dr. Brown would have purview over that. And May's like, yeah, no, I know, but, Del, look, I just want to make sure everything's okay. Like, I mean, you saw what happened between JM and the captain. I just want to, cut any potential security issues off before they start. You know what I'm trying to say, right? And Del's like, of course. It's just purely for the safety of the crew, of course. But unfortunately, protocol demands that I decline. I'm sorry. And, we must adhere to protocol or else, that introduces its own dangers. And May kind of looks him over and is just like, God, I'm not going to get anywhere with this, like, this goddamn robot. So like, she's like, I'm not going to out logic him. He's an android. I'm not going to, jujitsu him that way. So she's like, all right, appreciate it. Thanks. If you change your mind, let me know. I really feel like, it could benefit the safety of the crew and the mission. That's her last trump card, is knowing he might care more about the mission than other things. And he's like, of course, I appreciate that, but I really must decline. So sorry. Thank you. If there's anything else I can help with, please let me know. And he's like, yeah, thanks for nothing, man. All right. And so she sort of walks away. But that gets Del curious. Like, was there something specific that triggered it? So he steps into the mainframe. And so May walks away. Who knows where she goes? Del steps into the mainframe, makes sure the door shuts behind him, and he hooks up to Mother and sort of starts going through the logs. And because he's an android, he can maybe more directly interface with maybe he sort of plugs it like into the back of his neck, is like, and he sort of like, almost like in like, triple speed, quintuple speed, everything's flickering by on every single display at once. And all of a sudden, like, he freezes and he locks in on Tom in the med bay, standing over JM. And, he sort of sees what, the sort of smothering attempt, and then he just goes back a little bit. And then he just lets the audio play out in real time. And he kind of just watches, and he just takes note that Tom kind of had a little bit of a psychotic moment. So Del sort of like, notes that. And does he erase the logs? On a 1, yes, because I'm not 100% sure why he would do it. 4, no. Okay, so he leaves those intact. Yeah, he leaves those intact. And as he's stepping out of the mainframe, Olivia sort of is mainframe drives elevator. She was sort of in the drives area, and she had been sort of tailing May. Maybe, JM's probably still recovering, so it's not too much to tail. Maybe he's, in sickbay with Doc Brown getting some follow-up treatments. So Olivia knows that, like, May and JM sort of took one side of this standoff, so she followed them, and she sort of takes note that May was asking about the mainframe, why she was asking. Del ducked into the mainframe and then came out like 10 minutes later and just sort of locked the door behind him and didn't say anything. So back on the bridge. JM's not there. Tom is just sort of sitting by himself, taking a moment out the window. And Olivia finds him. And she's like, hey, you know, you told me to keep tabs on everybody, you know, like JM's with Doc Brown, you know, just getting some follow-up treatments, doesn't seem to be doing anything. Ade is working with the engineers, just sort of doing some maintenance. She's like, so that left Olivia, not Olivia, I'm Olivia, that left May. You know, I sort of followed her. She ended up getting in touch with Dell down in one of the engineering rooms and asked him to let her into the mainframe so she could check some tapes. And with that, Tom just sort of gets his eyes go wide for just a split second, just for a blink. Because he forgot about that. He's like, oh shit, yeah, of course, like when I started smothering the pilot, yeah, of course that was on tape. It just didn't occur to him in the moment. He was sort of, like, again, it was sort of like he was watching himself do it. He was sort of out of body. So he's like, oh shit, okay. Heh. Did Dell back up those tapes? 1 through 4, yes. 5, 6, no. 6, no. Okay, so there's no backup copy. All right. Yeah, so Tom's like, okay, all right. It's good to know. I appreciate that, Olivia. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And Olivia's like, yeah, sure thing. You know, sure thing. And so Tom's like, hey, you know, Olivia, why don't you crunch the numbers again? You know, just make sure, you know, I'm a little nervous about our fuel coming out of all of this. So, you know, just double check the navigation, make sure that, you know, we're on the best course. And, yeah, just let me know if there's any adjustments that need to be made. You know, just punch it into the autopilot. I trust you, but just let me know. And, yeah, we'll go from there. And Olivia's like, yeah, sure. Does she suspect anything on a 1? Yes. 5 through 6, no. Okay. Okay. Random crew inspiration tables, reaction table, relationship tables. Okay. So with that, Tom now goes down to mainframe. Just bring everybody on here. Crew. God, I had this. JM. May. Tom. Olivia. Dell's already on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. So Tom comes down. And he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Okay. He does have a computer skill. 0, but that at least he doesn't get like the -2. Being untrained. He's gonna scrub through and he's gonna realize there's plain as day is footage of him standing over JM committing a little attempted murder. So he starts to try to figure out how to delete. It's like, mother, if you could just delete data entry, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, denied. You know, security access is not granted strictly through voice activation. Please enter the protocol, you know. And so now he's got to try and figure out his computer. Oh, and he succeeds. And I think, you know, with that effect of 3, what I think I'm going to have it be is that he doesn't leave fingerprints on this. Yeah, he's able to sort of clean up this mess a little bit better. Like he didn't like Like, he remembers to delete the log of him coming into the mainframe. He remembers to delete the log, of course, of the event itself. He maybe is able to sort of circumvent like timestamps that might have, and he's able to get like the backups or something, you know. So he's able to do a pretty clean hack here of the incriminating footage. And he sort of slips out. And does anybody see him? On a 1, yes, 5 through 6, no. No, okay. So he gets away clean. Everybody is sort of busy doing their own thing. And yeah, he slips away unnoticed out of the mainframe room and just goes back about the ship. So, now having done that, I think that covers what we need to do en route to the Lady Luck. So now it's time to start figuring out what's going on with the Lady Luck. Let's go to... Yeah, I need to get like a local space. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's establish a couple of facts about Lady Luck. And then let's, you know what else I might do? Maybe we can like generate the Lady Luck on, using the rules. Okay, ship, DSM West Alliance. Let's, duplicate. And we're going to make this the Lady Luck. Activate it. Let's, basically, we might not need... I'm going to delete all this for now. So we got to start figuring out the ship. Did I do anything with the ship? Do we know anything about the ship? Let's go to the mission log. Close that out. Let's go to the mission log. Okay, so Lady Luck was a commercial ship traveling to Congress but lost a signal in the new concession zone. So let's bring out the Hostile Solo book. So we know it's a shipping vessel. Let's crisis space flight. Where are the rules for building random places? Randomized interiors? Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's not an orbital platform. It's a starship. It's a cargo ship, okay. Okay, so we're going to do a double-decker. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this arrangement here. This sort of has like the boxy bottom of like a transport in my mind. So what we're gonna do is let's rearrange these. Is this the Lady Luck? I think it is. So let's first so this is going to be DSF or Deep Space Freighter. Just like the Noctua is a Deep Space Freighter. Let's call it Deep Space Cargo. Deep Space Transport, DST. Lady Luck. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to arrange the shapes. So we need 1, 2... So we got 1, 2, 3... And the back only has 1, so these 2 are going to be part of... So there's 3 there. And then the 4th... I should be deleting some of these lines too. Okay. So we need to... Let's delete that and that. So what we need is we need... Oh, I see. So the bottom, yeah, the bottom doesn't need as many. Okay, so let's put one there. It's got 1, and then it's got the box. Okay, so that's deck 1, that's deck 2. So let's move all these over a little bit. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now let me figure out how to draw lines. Draw a polygon. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, so we've got the 2 decks of the Lady Luck. So now what we need to do is we need to start populating. So it's a cargo ship, so we know... So deck 1 is the operations deck. And then the second deck is whatever the type of ship it is. Sorry again, like I said, I'm getting sick in real time here, so... So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so... Did I do this? Oops. I don't think I built these tables out, so okay. We're gonna make the first one... This is gonna be the bridge. Second one we're going to roll. And we're going to roll this operations deck. We rolled a 1, I think. Let me shrink this down just so everybody can see what we're doing. Yeah, we rolled a 1, which is going to be a stateroom block. Okay, then we're gonna copy paste. Okay, we're gonna roll again. 6 is a crew lounge, okay. Next one is... cargo supplies, okay. All right, let's see what's next. Just keep going around the horn. Three more cargo supplies, okay. Next, if it's cargo supplies, I'm going to re-roll, I think. 4. Hypersleep chamber, okay, nice. Okay. Let's copy and paste. Let's keep going around. Circle here. Let's roll again. We need a med bay at some point, so let's just make sure we get that. Another crew lounge. That's fine. There's some symmetry to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then make 2 a small craft hangar med bay. So we're going to sort of just so we make sure we got everything covered. Med bay. Small craft hangar. Okay, so we got the top deck built out. Now let's do the bottom deck. Now the bottom deck, again, is going to be a cargo ship. So we're going to need airlock, cargo. I think we're going to skip. If we get past your hypersleep pods, we're not doing that. I feel like we should have airlock. Although, wait a minute, there's no... Let's make this, let me just... the Noctua really quickly. I think we need elevators. So let's go back to... Might have... Let's activate... And let's configure. So we need this to be the D... S deep space transport Lady Luck. We're gonna show in navigation. Yes, GM only doesn't matter. That way it shows up hopefully on this list. Okay, so we're gonna make this an elevator. Which means we're gonna make this an elevator as well. Okay, so we're going to need an airlock. We're going to make up here an airlock. And then we'll roll for the rest. Okay, so we'll go here. 3 is going to be cargo loading machinery. Again, if we get the passenger stuff, I'm re-rolling. Cargo loading machinery. Probably spelled something wrong, but that's fine. So let's do the next one. We're going to go right around. Got an elevator, airlock. We're going to make sure we need some cargo. We need 3 cargo, so we'll definitely do that. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just going to make cargo 1, cargo 2, and cargo 3. So let's make those somewhat symmetrical for no reason. So what would be here? Let's make it another cargo loading machinery. I'll roll just to see what it would have been. 2. We already got cargo 1. Okay, so... You know what? Let's make it, as much as I was like, oh, let's skip passenger, let's make it passenger hypersleep. Not that they, just so they can take passengers, like, the way like, hey, I'm a pilot for an airline and I need to get to Omaha, so I'm going to hop on the flight, sit in the jump seat or whatever. So yeah, so they can take, so like say there's some company guy that's got to get to a different system, they can jump in. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we've got our ship built out. This is going to be the DST Lady Luck. Looks good. All right. Can sort of picture it in my mind a little bit. That's good. So now what we got to do is we got to start figuring out what happened to the Lady Luck. So first and foremost, so the crew starts to approach the ship, a couple days pass or maybe like, a couple hours out, and the whole time they're trying to like make contact. They're not getting any, are they getting a response on a 1 yes by 2 through 6 no? They do. Okay. Interesting. I was not expecting that, obviously. Is an automated signal on a 1 no, 2 through 6 yes. Yes. Okay. So they're getting an automated signal. It's an SOS. And let's roll some inspiration tables. Are they getting any signs of life? 1 yes, 2 through 6 no. No. Okay. Okay. So a couple things. Let's I don't know if I do have a ship malfunction table, so let's roll that and see if that helps us at all. Okay, let's take a. So that's air recycling. Let's just take 3. The flooding, I think we did before. So the first one was air recycling. Roll engineering skill every hour to diagnose the problem. Once diagnosed, roll 1d6 plus 5 as a target number for repair. And use the skill. Okay. Okay, so we're starting to get like readouts on the ship. And so let's start taking some notes. Mission log. Okay, arrive at Lady Luck. Automated distress signal. No signs of life. No immediate signs of life. Okay. Initial sensor sweep indicate what did I say it was? Air recycling problem. Problems. The air recyclers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the target number for repair. Okay. Just because I'll forget. Repair. That's pretty easy. Target number. So I think we can infer something from that. Or no, let me, I think we need to ask the question. If it was a slightly below average repair, Why wasn't it done? So that's one question that's coming up. Because again, the baseline's an 8, so if they only needed a 7 to repair it, that's a little weird. Let's roll some inspiration tables. Oh, I do have that here. Okay, I didn't even realize I had these built out. Look at me. Encounter tables, we might need that. Ship encounters, we're in the middle of nowhere. Oh, that's just what kind of ship you... Okay. I was wondering if I had, like, encounter tables for, like, specifically on a ship. Oh, interesting. Okay. So let's do that, and let's do some... Again, as always, I've got the oracles ready to go, but like I said, I always want to keep it as much as I can within here. So I need the inspiration tables, which I think is building plot. Again, I'm just going to draw 3, and let's start figuring it out. So, okay, so I kind of like this. We got a hijacked vessel, unusual trajectory, call signs. So maybe part of the SOS. Okay, I like this. Part of the SOS is sort of like, you know, like when your bank is getting robbed, there's the silent alarm. There's or like when, you know, somebody blinks in Morse code when they're being held hostage. So, part of the automated SOS is code for hijack situation. Does anybody know that besides Dell? 1, 2, yes. 4 through 3 through 6, no. Okay. I think Tom would know and May would know. Okay, so Tom, Dell, and May recognize the code, so we can figure that out. Okay, as far as, let's see the other inspiration. We got a catastrophe, communications, okay, that could be, the SOS is built into a code. Fire. Okay. Okay, so here's what we got. We've got a catastrophe, fire on board the ship, okay, so as they pull up to the Lady Luck, they sort of see it's got a bit of a rotation to it, and you can almost... Unusual trajectory was part of the hijacked vessel. So, it's got sort of like this unusual rotation to it. And they can see on, say, the lower deck, where one of the cargo bays were, the side of the ship's been blown open. You can tell it's been violent, and you can sort of tell, like, that's the source of part of this rotation. And, you know, you can see, like, maybe some scorch marks where, like, when the flames got sucked out into space, it sort of, you know, scorched, you know, the edges of the plates. Yeah, so there's no signs of life. The hole is catastrophic in size. It's not just like a pinprick. It's like the whole side of this bay has been blown out. And yeah, given the scorch marks, it seems like it was a violent one. So let's fade to black there. Actually lasted a little bit longer than I thought I was gonna make it. I thought I was gonna fade rapidly and fall apart. My voice is starting to go, but that's could be from anything. So there we go. We finally have gotten to the Lady Luck. Only took 47 sessions. We've got some paranoia building amongst the crew, and we finally has seen that the Lady Luck encountered a hijack situation, and there may not be any survivors. And something violent and catastrophic has occurred to the hull of the ship. So there we go. So we'll, the next time I have a solo session, we'll dig into what's going on aboard the Lady Luck, maybe why. We'll figure out this hijack situation took place, and we'll go from there. So yeah, and again, I apologize for the intermittent scheduling of this one. Again, the point of this is to be doing stuff as a group, doing the rotation stuff, but I like having this kind of thing in my back pocket. And again, I haven't been pushed to let's wrap this up. I've been really enjoying this. So I hope everybody out there has been enjoying it as well. So again, we're Black Lodge Trivia Night. We're a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. Usually there's 3 of us, me, Matt, Patrick, but alas, it was just me tonight. We have a bunch of different systems, a bunch of different adventures. We have some RPG discussion podcasts. Matt and I talk about Souls games a little bit. I've got computer role-playing game Let's Plays. Everything except the Let's Plays. We have audio versions. Just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever you get your podcasts. We should show up. We've got a Discord if you want to jump in. If you're watching this, obviously you found our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, notification bell kind of stuff if that's your thing. The main thing is always, we say it a lot. We appreciate everybody who checks this stuff out. We genuinely are having a great time. We appreciate everybody who jumps in, and we hope you're having some fun too. So thanks again. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye-bye. The in-session music was provided by Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find the Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music. That's all one word.